My journey to uncover my father's past started on a Toronto bus one spring morning in 2012. I was on my way to a stressful job. I'd had a particularly difficult morning with my son, and my mother's addictions continued to impact me emotionally and physically. I remember staring out the window thinking, how am I going to survive? Then I thought about my father surviving Auschwitz. For weeks after, I couldn't stop thinking about him and how little I knew about his life before I was born. I realized I needed to search for the truth for me and my son, Oliver. I had a small part of my father for only 10 years. I was too young to ask him important questions about his childhood, his family, and what happened to him in World War II. The man I knew was Ted Lange. For me, he was my dad. And for me, he held me and he put me to bed and he read me stories about being a princess. And whenever he was around, knowing that he was not too far away made me feel safe. I knew my life was different from other kids. And I knew I'd heard, the term illegitimate mentioned in our house. There was something, a part of his life that I didn't know about.
There was times where he was a big part of our lives and he was there all the time, and then there was times where he was gone for months at a time that I wouldn't see him. He always seemed like he had a separate life somehow too, right? Like you never knew where he went, you know what I mean?
Tadeusz Lange left Europe, Poland, and the horrors of the Second World War behind him on August 28, 1947. He sailed from Bremerhaven, Germany to Halifax, Nova Scotia on the General M.B. Stewart. I believe that was when my father stopped being Tadeusz Lange and became Ted Lange. The Polish people in Sudbury who went to St. Casimir's Church every Sunday, or the men who met in the Polish Combatants' Hall knew Tadeusz, but I didn't. The more research I did, the more I wanted to share my journey. Even though this is an intensely personal story, when I walked through the gates of Auschwitz, the gates of hell, I knew it was bigger than me and my family.
You can learn a lot about your dad and learn some Polish words.
Yeah, and a little bit about being Polish too, right?
I think it's important that that story come out for my dad. I think it's important for me that it's told. It's important for Oliver that it's told. It's a story that is important for other people because there are millions of people who didn't get an opportunity to tell their story. And ultimately, we can't forget what happened in the Second World War.